What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Twisted Life of TV. I am Poetry. You are here for another recap and review of a new TV series called Berlin, which is featuring on Netflix. It is a spinoff of the original show Money Heist, which I absolutely fell in love with. There was a character on Money Heist named Berlin, the professor's brother. Berlin was a character that you love to hate, hated to love at the same time. And so this story takes us back to prior to the Royal Mint ever being taken over, and it gives us a journey of Berlin's life. Now, I was excited for it because I knew that Berlin was kind of like the mastermind of the whole Royal Mint heist. Fortunately, Berlin didn't make it to all the heists. So, child, we know he ended up dying in the original series. So, if you hadn't watched that, my bad. You need to go back and watch it, and you still be just as shocked as I am once you watch it. So, we got him and his crew of people. I wasn't too keen on how the show was directed or produced because it seemed like soapy. It seemed very soapy, like a soap opera. Very telenova, very, I don't know, I was going to say Korean soap opera. Korean soap operas was good, child. It seems very soap opera. And I see that this whole season, or at least this particular episode, is more focused on Berlin's love of women, more so than the heist. The heist is kind of playing like second nature to his love interest. And I understand that this very first episode is called The Energy of Love, but that's not what I was here for. Now, I understand in the original show Money Heist, there was love interest being created. Professor in Lisbon, Denver, and Stockholm. Who else we have? Rio and Tokyo. It was another one. Palmero with goodness gracious, I can't think of everybody's names. How can I forget the team's name? I don't even know. But anyway, those were the love interests that were created. But they were created as a backstory to the heist itself. And in this particular season, they seem to have flipped the script. It seems like his love of women is the main focus, in the heist or second nature. As we open up with Berlin having his third wife leave him. He's in Paris at this particular time. We knew Berlin bounced around all over. I didn't realize Berlin had a team. The way that they described him initially was that he was a petty thief. He wasn't performing massive heist like he's doing now. He was a thief that was well known and well wanted by the police. But it was because of it wasn't a major heist like this. And this one is a major heist that is going to cause a lot of planning. So they're basically going to steal jewels from 34 different countries, but all from one location. For some reason, I can't remember what it was. All these countries are coming to Paris, and they're all going to store their jewels into this one facility. And so it's going to take time for them to learn when all these deposits were made, to find out when the last one actually arrives, because they're not coming at the same time, in order for them to do this. So they have to set up this long heist in order to get these jewels. So let's introduce the characters. Of course, we have Berlin. His name is Andres. And right now I'm hearing them call him Andres. Although if you got the subtitles on like I do, because they're speaking in Spanish and I don't know Spanish that thoroughly yet, then you see that they keep putting it as Berlin. I believe he had got the name Berlin once he went to start doing the Royal Mint, because the crew with the Royal Mint, with the professor and everybody, all of them had names of different cities and or countries. Like Nairobi, Tokyo, Rio, Stockholm, Denver. They had those type of names, right? In this particular one, they have made up names, but I don't see the relation yet to what their names are. I'm gonna have to figure it out in a minute. They may be singers. I don't know why I'm thinking they're singers. Maybe because they're so focused on the fact that the main character that Berlin is falling in love with is a singer. So it's possible. Okay, so we start off with Keela. Keela is basically Alicia and Lisbon put together. That's what she reminds me of. She looks like Alicia. She has the brains of Alicia, but she moves and acts a little bit like Lisbon. She has a little bit of naivety to her as well, but still, for the most part, that's who she is. Okay. Then we have Cameron. Cameron is basically, she looks like Nairobi and she acts like Tokyo. Then we have Roy. Roy is basically Rio. Who is he a combination of? So he's good with the explosives and electronics and all that stuff. That's Rio. Who else is he a combination of? Berlin, to be honest. But mainly Rio. Then we have Bruce. Bruce is 100% Denver. Okay. 100% Denver. That's Bruce. Then we also have the professor. What the hell is the professor's name? Put it down in the comment section if you watch this episode. I forgot the professor's name already. But we have the professor. He looks like, okay, oh God, what's his name? Okay, so remember the trans girl? Her father? They had the hard rim glasses, the bald head. He looks just like him. He looks just like him. He acts like him and Marcellus put together. But he's the professor, got the brains of the professor. And he's supposed to be the brainiac behind this whole operation. Is it Heist? Okay, so yeah, that's who we dealing with. So it looks like they have basically taken the original cast members' characters and blended them into Berlin's crew here in Paris. One of the funny things that I found weird about this, because I try to listen to it in its native language, and I read the subtitles when I'm watching the show. All through the episode, they kept saying that they are speaking English, but not one single time did they switch to English. Not one time. Every time he met somebody, when he met Camille, when he met who was the first person he talked to? And he was like, yeah, I know English very well. I learned English as my first language or what have you. Oh, Cameron, she knew English. But they never spoke English. They are speaking Spanish this entire time. Every once in a while, they'll switch over to a little bit of French, and that's for the people who are French natives, or Paris natives. But for the most part, they are speaking Spanish this entire time. I'm like, I had to play it back. Like, am I missing the English? Ain't nobody speaking English here. The priest was supposed to be speaking English. Okay, anywho, so like I said, we start off with Berlin and his third wife. Remember, Berlin had a lot of wives. His third wife breaking up. And, he ain't got time to grieve. He ain't got time to care because they got a heist that they got to get going. It appears that the police is rolling up on him. They roll up in the Jeep or Humvee, got the sirens blasting and everything. And they're there to pick up Berlin. You would think that they were there to arrest him because that's the way they make it seem. Like the police was rolling up on him real tough. He gets in the vehicle in the front seat, which makes me know they weren't the police. Okay. You look around, you see all the police in the background, or the people that's dressed as police in the background, and one guy puts a gun at him. And quick flash, it makes it look like they're pointing a gun at him. But no, they're giving him a gun. So they're going off to this big fancy smashy dinner at this mansion, and they are going to rob the host of this dinner party. So they go inside, present themselves to the police, act like they got a warrant, and he takes the main guy up into the safe, and there's a chalice inside of there that he steals. Okay, and he tells the dude with the chalice, you don't say nothing, won't be no problems. He comes down and he threatened the whole dinner party. There's one guy in there that wants to pop off. Now you got 4 people in here with guns, and you telling your girlfriend, I don't think that they real cops. So you challenging these 4 people with guns about whether or not they are legitimate officers and you ain't got no weapon on you. You just want to be a tough guy. Berlin comes down, checks him, lets him know, don't die for love, fool. There's no reason for you to be dying for love because love fades. This ain't even your wife. This your girlfriend. Somebody you just met 3 months ago. Okay, so why are you up here popping off at the mouth? The guy who they was doing it to, Arturo. That's who he was. Because remember, all through the original season, Arturo was the one who was playing the hero. And Berlin had to check him, put him in his place. Like, well, don't be out here playing the hero today. You can lose your life over love. Okay. And the guy breaks down and start crying. What Arturo should have did in the first season is to cower down. But of course, our Arturo had to keep coming back and had to keep trying to prove himself to be the hero. He had to take them down because his pride was too big. This guy right here, right now, ain't doing all that. He just down on his knees, whipping and crying. It's kind of like putting Arturo in check, so to speak, in this particular character. So they drive off, right? So one of the things I'm also noticing from this opening episode compared to the original season is that their stories, their backstories are kind of similar. In addition to, we're not getting a lot of flashbacks. What we're getting is, like in the original series, we were able to flash back to see how they all got to the point of the heist. You know, all the training and everything that they went through, all the education that the professor gave them. We flashed back on that for 5 different seasons for us to get a full understanding of where these people came from and why they were doing the things that they were doing. We didn't get that here. What we got in the original, I'm not in the original, in the original, yeah, still original, in the original heist itself or the robbery, Cameron wasn't with them. Cameron didn't join them until they got to Paris. Rio is infatuated with Cameron. Oh, not Rio, Roy. They just switched the letters in his name. He's fascinated with Cameron, the same way Rio was fascinated with Tokyo. And like I said, Cameron is basically Tokyo and Nairobi put together. He's fascinated with her. She fascinated with him. Okay. I was gonna say Alicia. Keela, again, is kind of smitten with Bruce. Did I mention Bruce? There's a random guy named Bruce. I don't know why Bruce is the one that's making me think that this is about singers like Bruce Springsteen. I'm gonna find a connection in a minute. I ain't sure yet. But Bruce, she's fascinated with Bruce. Bruce, did I say Bruce was Denver? I think I did say Bruce was Denver. Maybe I didn't. I remember mentioning Denver, but I don't remember mentioning the name Bruce. Okay, anyway, she fascinated with Bruce. Bruce fascinated with her. Bruce is the one with the wild abandon, the lustful nature. Denver. Okay. So yeah, they got that fascination together. And Berlin is in love with his subject. The person who they're trying to plan the heist against, Berlin has fallen in love with his wife. All within a matter of seconds. Now he just sat here and told Arturo 2.0 that don't lose your life for love. Life ain't worth it. Love fades away. This, that, and the third. He just sat down and had a whole conversation with Professor 2.0 to tell him that, you know, love ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? It comes and goes. The best part about falling in love is the falling, the first, you know, the puppy dog stage. Even though Professor been married for 24 years, you know, he tell him that shit ain't real. You know, fuck love, basically, is what he's basically telling them. And then while they are staking out the curator, that's what I'm calling him right now, until I figure out what he does, for the auction house where they're holding all the valuables, he notices the dude's wife, and in the middle of the night she gets up and starts playing music and dancing around, and she's reading a book, her toenails are polished, all this, that, and the third. He's noticing all these little key little details by her, and he's falling in love. By morning, he's in love. She goes out in the middle of the night. Her husband doesn't stir. The dog don't bark because she take the dog with her. And he goes out in the middle of the night and follows her to a nightclub and watches her interact with her friends and laughing and giggling and singing. Berlin is all in love. He's in love with love. He's in love with the falling in love stage, right? Okay, so how do we get here? once Berlin got the crew together in Paris, he shows them this chalice, right? The chalice has a bunch of little, I forgot what century the chalice is from, but it looks very archaic, okay? They do dip it in some acid of some sort to try to make the bronze age faster than it really is doing, to make it look a lot older. They're going to take this chalice and use this to help break into the auction house. So what they do, they go into this church in Paris, find this little that's near the auction house. There's a tunnel that's leading from that church over to the auction house, so he has to get into that tunnel somehow. They're going in pretending that they are an excavation team from this great university that I think their Professor 2.0 worked at. And Berlin, they go in and they talk to the priest who's in charge. The priest has these two convicts there that are in a work release program, so to speak. These two convicts remind me of Helsinki and his brother. God dog it, I can't remember his brother's name. They remind me of them two people. Okay, so like I said, they're taking all the characters from the original show and somehow weaving them into the storyline in these particular characters here. But they're not on our team. So they go in there and they convince this man that they believe, reason to believe that this church is sitting on top of another building, which could possibly be deemed the oldest church in France, taking it away from the original oldest church in France, which basically means it's going to be worth a lot of doggone money. Greed fuels everybody, including men of the cloth, right? And Berlin was counting on that. So they go down, he allows them to go down into the crypt with their little machines and try to detect if there's any evidence that there is a building underneath the building that they're in. Of course, you know, all the little gadgets gonna beep when it's supposed to beep. And the priest allows them to start digging because he think, hey, money, power, respect. That's what he's thinking, right? He allows them to start digging. So when the priest ain't around, they go down there and they plant the chalice in the ground. And the next morning, after Berlin goes out on his little stalking party with the curator's wife, Poligoric, it begins with a P. I'm gonna call him the curator. With the curator's wife, after he goes stalking her through the night, the next morning, he oversleeps because like only love gives him peace and serenity, and he believes he's in love right now. And I don't know, Professor 2.0 let him know, hey, that's the curator's wife, dog. Come on now. The person we finna rob. What sense does that make? Berlin kind of says, okay, yeah, you right, dog. I ain't studying her, right? I ain't studying her. But he is. He really is. So when they go down there, they go back to the church. They pretend that they found the chalice in the ground. Of course, everybody's eyes is bugged wide open, including the priest. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. He said, well, fine. Now we got to excavate. So that's going to allow them to bring in all the tools and the machinery they needed to go through this tunnel to get over to the auction house. The priest runs out and get all the permits and everything that they need so they can start doing what they got to do. In the meantime, Berlin is still trying to get with the curator's wife. And he's got Roy out there with him. Roy drove him over to the little cafe hoping that she would show up. And of course she did, right? So he got this whole plan to sit there and try to act like he interested but not interested in her. You know, he makes small talk with her, and then he's supposedly gonna walk away, leaving her like wanting and longing for more. He walks away and she walks past him and goes on about her merry little way. And now his feelings hurt. Because basically what he wanted to do to her was to present himself as interested, walk away and leave her wanting. That's basically what she just did to him. Okay. He had made small talk with her. He's getting more and more intrigued, learning about who she is. And when she leaves out the building, he's looking after her. She's not looking after him. So he's building his interest up more and more and more and more and more to be involved with her. Rio finds it strange that, you know, that's the doggone curator's wife, right? Berlin don't give a fuck about that. What does that matter that she married? That's he don't care about that. So, while he's out doing this thing, child, I said they got the excavation going back on at the church, and they are going through the tunnel. Are they going through the tunnel yet? They're digging their way through the tunnel. And through the little crypt, you see all these dead bodies. Well, not even dead bodies. You see all these bones and skeletons because it's a crypt. The bones and skeletons made through the wall and everything. And everybody looking nervous and scared. And all these doggone dead spirits. And I don't know why y'all don't leave tombs alone. Down there, mess with these tombs and dig through the wall to get over to the auction house, right? Well, we got a problem. We come back upstairs, and there's the priest. The priest is here. He's trying to commandeer the chalice. He wants to take the chalice over to the university himself and be the one to announce that it was found. And then he's now the oldest church in Paris, right? Of course, Professor 2.0 tries to talk him out of it, but he don't give a damn. Of course, he wants the fame. Money, fame, respect. That's what he wants. And he got his con crew with him, who is basically his bodyguards. The con crew walk up on the professor and like, hey, check this out. He taking it. It's his church. Everything in here belongs to him. What you gonna do about it? Huh? Hold check, fool. That's what he basically saying. So they had to let him go because he didn't want them problems. The Professor 2.0 don't want them problems with the convict. But then so he take the chalice and he got an 8:30 flight back over to, was it Spain? He got an 8:30 flight back over to Spain so he can go, or back somewhere, child, so he can present that chalice. When they do that, they're going to find out that it's a fake. It ain't as old as what they think, as what they're telling him that it is, which is going to debunk the idea that his church is the oldest church, and they're going to come back and they're going to have issues. So they call up Berlin to let him know what's going on, right? Berlin and Roy, they basically are still watching the property, trying to find out when all the deposits are made. I'm not sure exactly how. They broke into his house earlier and they put bugs and cameras all over. He doesn't speak to his wife about his business. We haven't seen him get any phone calls other than the one from his wife. So I'm not sure how they're going to find out when the deposits are being made just from watching his house. Because they're not following him to his job when he leaves out. When he decided to go out to go do whatever he had to go do, they didn't follow him. So how do they know when the deposit's been made? I still not getting that part. It's not clear to me at all. Right now, only thing we're using this surveillance for is to find out when this man leaves his house so Berlin can stalk his wife. That's pretty much it. So they did, Roy was overhearing the conversation. She was coming home. They were supposed to be going to the opera. And he got a meeting with the Spanish embassy. He got a meeting with the embassy. So he got to go. He forgot all about the opera. His wife should have reminded him. And she's like, do you know this was important to me? I wanted to go. Now I got to go by my damn self. What have you, right? Now, when she called him on the phone, she said, can you bring my clothes down to me? We're going to be late for the opera. We need to go, right? So she said, fine. I'm going to go by myself. She gets to the house. She goes up in the house. And she fucking playing around. Trying to see if her hair look cute up like her. Or cute look down her. Or her hair don't look no fucking different every time she do it. She flip a bang back. She put a bang up. Her hair is lifeless and limp to me. And has no style. She has no charisma, no character. She's bland. She's like so plain. The girl next door type. Less than the girl next door type of plain. She's the girl that you didn't even know lived next door. That type what she looks like to me. Not an unattractive girl, but she's somebody that I would walk past and wouldn't even notice. But Berlin is intrigued with her. So while she's doing all that, Roy gets excited at the fact that they had an argument. This is an opportunity, the window for Berlin to go do his thing, right? So Berlin getting dressed to go to the opera. He finna go meet this chick. Like, hey, I'm gonna happen to run into her. Hey girl, hey, are we in the same place at the same time again? We going to the same place? You ain't even got no fucking ticket. But I guess she gonna use her ticket for him. It's not uncommon to see him dressed up in this neighborhood. This is supposed to be a real classy, bougie neighborhood, which she don't fit that bill for me at all. She looks so simple. But okay. Professor 2.0 calls Berlin before he heads out to his opera thing to let him know we got a problem. He explains to him what the priest is going to do, and they about to be found out, right? So Berlin got to think. He got to think. They've been planning this excavation for 3 weeks now. Wheels are in motion. In order to get the ball rolling, we got to make sure this priest don't open his mouth and discover that doggone chalice is a fake. So he tells Roy, you need to go stop him. You need to go stop him by any means necessary. Okay. So we see Roy's mind clicking. You know what I'm saying? His mind click. I would have thought that Bruce would have been the one, because the way that he described Bruce was the one to not be fucked with. Roy was like the technological bombs, coordinating genius type of person. Bruce was supposed to have been the one that's supposed to have been the tough guy, but I don't know. Roy think he's the lieutenant, his right-hand man, like Palermo, So I guess, child. And it's funny that there was a scene in here that when Berlin went to the cafe to go meet up with Camille, that's the curator's wife name, when he went to go meet up with her, he wanted Roy to walk in and pretend that they was old friends, and Roy was like, he was like real excited, overexcited about it, and he did the French 3-kiss thing on the cheek, and Berlin was like, nah, she think I'm gay, this, that, another. And we all know that Berlin did participate in homosexual activities with Palermo. We already know that. Berlin still say he wasn't gay. He just love. Fluid. Okay. So I was tripping off that point too. I think that's probably why they made it a point to show that, because it makes you question, how did Berlin end up with Palermo? Berlin likes anybody that loves him. That's pretty much what it is. He don't even, did he ever tell Palermo that he loved him? I think when he's getting ready to die. Anyway, child. So Roy's mission is to go stop the priest from getting on that 8:30 plane by any means necessary. Okay. In the meantime, Berlin finna go to the doggone opera. He walks out of the apartment, see Camille coming out at the same time. Hey girl, hey. And that's how the episode went off. So yeah, I'm not sure, y'all, if I don't feel a part of the team. Y'all know how I was with Money Heist. I was part of the team. I felt like I was there planning the heist with them. I felt like I had a role, in the whole heist itself. I had an understanding and a familiarity with the characters. And even though these characters are very similar to the ones that were in the original Money Heist, I don't feel connected to these characters here. And I don't. Keela, I'm believing, is a virgin. But she's very naive when it comes to intimacy and sex. And of course, we're going to see Bruce going to teach her, to show her the world. We already going to see that. It's so obvious. Like I said, Professor 2.0. What the hell was Professor 2.0's name? Damn, I can't think what his name was. Like I said, he's definitely the professor. And Marcellus. And what was her name? Was it Misty? I can't think of the girl's name. Her dad. He had a regular ass name. He's all three of them wrapped into one. Even looks. They even got these characters looking like those characters. Like, Cameron very much looks like Tokyo and Nairobi put together. Keela looks like Alicia in Lisbon and acts like Stockholm. Roy looks like Rio. Bruce looks like Denver. They're all very, I don't know. But the way they are moving this first episode along, like I say, they so focused on Berlin and his love, this love that he's made up in his mind about this woman, that I'm only getting bits and pieces of the heist itself and the understanding how they are moving and the knowledge they have about pulling off this fucking heist. That it shouldn't be. One of the things that the professor was good at in Money Heist was expecting the unexpected. So if they came into a situation like the priest taking the chalice, or anybody find out that the chalice ain't as old as what it is, or what they're saying it is, Professor already had a plan B. We finna activate this plan now because of the way that this happened. We don't have that here. We don't have that level of commitment, that level of mastermindedness that we had in that original series. But this person was supposed to be a mastermind, which is crazy because Berlin was supposed to be the mastermind for the original show. Like and this is his crew, has been his crew for a while. So this isn't the first job that they're done. So it's not like they're just learning on the fly. I don't know, child. I don't know. I'm going to keep watching it. I mean, it's an interesting enough story. If I didn't know anything about the first Money Heist, then I probably would be more intrigued. But right now, this is like a love story being played out with some action in the background. That's what it is. And I want the action. I'm here for the heist. I'm here for the getting in trouble. Damn the love that can happen on the back end of it for me. But we're gonna see how this doing. When I looked at Netflix, because the show started, they posted it on the 29th. And usually, you see like the top 10 shows being watched right now. It is not listed in the top 10 at all. And Money Heist was a phenomenon, a worldwide phenomenon. And we just don't have that. It's not even ranking at this particular time. But I'm going to give it a chance. But thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for being here. This is our first video of the year. I know I'm still catching up on old stuff from last year. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm no longer apologizing in 2024. I'm not apologizing for things that are out of my control. Unless I harm you. Not posting a video is not harming anybody. So I ain't apologizing for not getting those videos up unintentionally. I'm not even apologizing for the ones I said I was going to do and I intentionally chose not to do them. Why? Because it was my doggone choice. Welcome to the new year. Thank you for being here. And if you like this channel, hit the subscribe button. Like I said, 2023 was an amazing year for me. It's a lot of downs, but that's all right. Once I go down, ain't nothing to do but to come back up, baby. I'm out. Peace.